And we're back, Maggiore West, for the World Super Touring cars at the reverse grid is about to be unleashed. But we've got some tidying up to do after the aftermath of race one. Most notably, the inter-team battle between Renault was a bit more aggressive than the inter-team battle with the Alphas, who eventually got the 1-2. But also, a thorn in the side of those Renaults was the Ingram Volvo, which was almost in retaliation for what happened at Bathurst. And the person alongside me, Michael Swinnerton, might have been privy to some of the news there. He wasn't allowed in the stewards room, but I think he heard some news from that. Swinny, let us know if you do have that news.
I do. So first and foremost, no action was taken. It was all just deemed hard racing, which I agree with. I mean, Ingram was a bit aggressive with his defending at some point, but ultimately he wasn't seen as pushing Gasho off the track on the outside of the waterfall turn. So no action was taken. So everybody's points and finishing positions are staying as is. And Ingram definitely felt a bit vindicated after that.
It was a bit not necessarily disheartening, but I suppose promising that after Bathurst, Aiello and Ingram have kind of sort of almost forgotten the hatchet was even buried at Bathurst, and it's nice and sort of comradeship all round. Good to see.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's being cordial with each other, but the other thing I will point out is we are still quite early on in the championship, so we'll see if that attitude persists.
Once that pit lane home finally comes off, there we go. I was about to point out that Kubica was going to be a stealth surprise after finishing 11th, and there he goes, already up towards 7th and almost 8th, as the BMWs swamp the first three on the grid. 1, 2 right there as the sun begins to set around Maggiore. Wittmann and Fisichella 7th and 8th. Lammers is 3rd. Ekstrom 4th, falling back. And more sausage curb eating from the midfield as the two BMWs put their own display team on show as they approach the waterfall. But this is a surge. This is more than a traffic jam. This could be a pile-up. Thankfully.
Yeah, that was 3 wide into the waterfall. I'm amazed nobody ended up in the gravel there. But Aiello has managed to pass everybody and get into 3rd place already. Oh dear, are we going to see Renault win again?
Well, they're threatening to do what we expected them to do. There was a Volvo and the two Alphas that prevented them from doing that. BMW should be aware by now of what that Renault is capable of. Much like the Gasho Renault in 9th, that hasn't had the best of times given the reverse grid. Kubica back to 10th, and Ingram already disposing that from Kubica's hands. Wide goes the Renault again. Gasho now up to 8th. Down the inside goes Aiello, and is it for the lead? That's brave. That might have been a bit too dangerous. Shades of race 1, but Aiello on the outside of Schneider, about to had to resign that for the time being. It is early doors yet, but we can see that it's going to be a case of when, not if, theme of the season.
Yeah, that was a very brave send from Aiello into turn 1 and then into turn 2. But there is now a slightly Renault-shaped dent in Schneider's door, I think, for the trouble. But there goes Aiello for the lead, not wasting any time.
Overlap from Schneider gives the onboard from Webber. I was expecting Webber to be further up than that then, but never mind. It's back as you were this time last lap. Wittmann 4th, Ekstrom 5th, Lammers, Fisichella, Gasho, rounding out your top 8. Kubica now being a cork in the bottle for everyone, right to the back of the pack in Kobayashi's Tamiya team Honda, putting Wickens in the place no one wants to be. Wide goes Aiello, but that's going to be a better run on that BMW. But BMW acted very defensively. The Renault power, though, that we don't see in qualifying, very evident in the race. We know where their focus is then. What's him again? Crap jokes aside, Aiello now takes the lead.
Yeah, once again, another big send from Jean there into turn 1, only this time he's made it stick. I don't see Schneider or Webber being able to mount much of a counter-attack, given how dominant that Renault has been in the past, and he's already pulling away from Sophie there.
And as Aiello starts to depart the battle, Gasho is heading towards this front pack, Ekstrom just in front, and that's going to be a case of when not if as well, because it's still very early in this particular race. On board Kubica, so good start after a sensible finish. Would have been nice to get the P10, but we didn't see him get very close to the Lammers Honda. But obviously with the better starts in the mid-pack, getting it into the top 10, just being shrouded by the guys in front and their better performing cars. Even though the second-hand BMW that you see here is a good pedigree.
Yeah, it is a good run for Kubica, given that his team is brand new. Their experience is just running a BMW 1 Series in sort of Pro-Am semi-club event. So this is a big step up for that team. So that, yeah, this is... And also given their results so far in this season, this is exactly what this team needs. Okay, it's not groundbreaking, it's not racing for the lead or the win or whatever, but they are comfortably in front of every other privateer right now, given that they've got 2 works cars behind them, at least 2, if not more. And there they are, right slap bang in the middle of the field.
And we are heading for an anticlimax as far as the locals are concerned. Wittmann 5th, Fisichella 9th, and the better performing teams are very much showing their hand right now compared to the Alphas, who have been there, here or hereabouts, shall we say, in the top 10. But the locals will want them to be closer. Dare I say we'll see some boos ringing out if those Renaults are going to run away with it. Despite the team boss being Italian himself.
This is also what we're used to seeing from Alfa Romeo, sadly, is if they get qualifying right, they are a force to be reckoned with in race 1. And then they have the grid. Oh, Ingram, that was a bit of a clumsy move. Yeah, and then the Alphas, when they start further back in the pack for race 2, they just can't deal with the traffic as well. It's always been their biggest weak point. And they don't go forwards in traffic that often. Sometimes they get good starts and end up picking up a bunch of places, you know, turn 1, lap 1. But if they don't do that, then they're just sort of stuck being mediocre. Meanwhile, Gasho on Webber gives him a tap on the back end, lets him know he's there.
And as we did postulate, that second Renault about to dispose of 2 BMWs in front of him.
It might take him a few laps, but he's got essentially 11 laps to do it, so it's entirely possible. And he's got a huge gap back to Wittmann, so it's not like he has to worry about what's in his rearview mirrors, because there isn't anything in his rearview mirrors. Here he goes.
And having remembered to be a bit more erring on the side of caution, we see Ingram ahead of Lammers in the most sensible part of the track, but there's a switch back in play right there. Yeah. Webber still fending off, but we can see where the tide is turning here, if that's going to be happening into the remaining 66% of this race.
Yeah, Gasho just carried a little bit too much speed into the apex of the waterfall turn, and it caused him to have a really naff exit, which allowed Webber to get back past for now.
Who who we did see fall out of the top 8 was in fact Ingram, because Fisichella has gone ahead and has gone ahead of Lammers as well. So they were having their own personal tussle into the waterfall, and therefore keeping Kubica almost. Well, he's not in shot there. I thought he was. There he is. I thought he was close enough to the Ingram Volvo, but I think that, as you see already, Ingram is now trying to get a move, as is Gasho
On
down the
Schneider,
inside
that's
of
for
Schneider.
second. So he must have gotten
We've missed,
around Webber somehow very quickly without us noticing. So yeah, it's now
and
Renault, BMW, BMW.
fastest lap for Aiello, a second and a half faster than his teammate already, but that's because Aiello had nothing to worry about in front of him. Same could be said for Gasho now, so that's going to be a battle for fastest lap, if not a battle for the lead. We'll just see we'll have to wait and see what the team orders are like. Here's Ekstrom on board, Wittmann in front, waterfall approaches, tight braking area. Volvo we know can do some good improvements from Interlagos. Corner,
Using all
cutting.
of the apex and a bit more. Whitman gets out in the gravel. That's probably going to be 5th place for Ekstrom. That's a good move from the rookie there.
And that's going to be promising for Ingram then in the other Volvo, if his teammate can do that in a much more sensible manner than what Ingram attempted a couple of laps ago. But there's the Alphas again, inside of the rabbit ears on Ekstrom, but very well defended from the Swede.
Yeah, Ekstrom's gotten in front, but he's not pulling away just yet. I fear that Whitman may be able to mount a counter-attack here.
And Ingram providing the alternate line to the Alphas out the exit or the final turn, final apex.
Fisichella's gone defensive.
There.
Everyone's clean and tidy so far through turn 1. I was expecting someone to take a lunge on someone else, and it didn't happen. So Ekstrom's still 5th. This is the part of the track where I think the Volvo is quicker than the Alfa Romeo and can start to pull away. And we will hear the elephant trunk of the engine note of that Volvo really sing.
Keeping sensible for the time being as we complete the first half of this race.
Although having said that, here comes Whitman. She's having a look to the inside of the waterfall. We're going to see a repeat performance just the other way round.
Does that mean gravel? It does not.
No gravel
Whitman
this time.
Clean as you can be. Kubica up to 9th, then ahead of Lammers. The other Honda is outside the top 10. Thompson down to 12th behind the ever-struggling Golfs. And Duma has done better than this, but it's still a very good showing from the privateer effort, DHL Alpha.
It's still points. That's the important thing for the privateers.
Clinging on for dear life, the other underachieving Ford Focus team beginning to show their inexperience, even though they have had more than one season. Now into team rivalry between the two BMWs there. Webber looking to be quicker than the Schneider BMW in front.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands right now, Schneider is ahead of Webber in the points. Schneider is 4th with 77. Webber is 5th with 68. So it's really all to play for there. I don't see team orders coming into play just yet, stopping Webber from having a go. But at the same time, if they want to get back at those Renaults, they need to work together to do so, not start fighting each other.
And through that turn at least, that is the plan in action. As much as they can do, considering the Renault, in fact both of them have just effectively gone. One's in sight of those two, but the other one even further ahead. Ingram now ahead of Fisichella. Kubica might be closing in on this actually.
I think he might be. Ekstrom has dropped off the back of Whitman, so Whitman's got herself a gap. I don't know if she'll be able to catch the BMWs in front of her. I know she'll dearly love to. And wonder how much formation flying we're going to see from these Volvos, or whether Ingram is going to get around his more inexperienced teammate to try and mount a bit more of an attack on 5th place.
As far as championship experience is concerned, Ekstrom is the rookie compared to Ingram, but Ekstrom is a Volvo regular. Ekstrom drafted in as the reliable hands, having done the championship or similar championships before. The two Fords line astern. Kobayashi, Plum last.
Plum last, but he's not like he's by himself half a lap behind. He is within striking distance of Wickens. I just feel like these two teams have just been struggling for. I think to me, a team have been struggling to get a handle on the new car, and that 3M team are really struggling with that Ford Focus now. They showed some promise and some pace and did get some good results in the first season with that car, but yeah, I don't know how much longer that's going to last for that team, unfortunately.
Despite how good Bianchi has been in the Euros, it's not a good advert for his presence in the World Championship. Better times ahead for the Frenchman. But better times ahead for Renault and Gachot. However, BMW still close enough
BMW
to
have
provide a
closed
potential
in
threat.
on Gachot, so I think they have actually been. I mean, Webber has gotten around Schneider, so they have had a little civil war. But now that they're done with that, it looks like they are now working together to a degree to catch Gachot. Although, having said that, there goes Schneider, so never mind. I will shut up.
That's a potential thorn right there to hold them up. It was good to see all 4 of these cars in the same shot, however long that straight particular was. And perhaps this particular piff path up the hill onto the backstretch. Nope, still those 3 from second to 4th. A brief glimpse from the onboard of Schneider that we did see Ayalo just then. We're going to see him taking the waterfall now. There he is.
Although Schneider is having a go at Webber again. This is exactly what screwed over Renault's race last time round.
Almost screwed over Webber, but they were both as clean as they could be. Webber still in front. That would have held them up somewhat.
Yeah,
However,
Gachot's now starting to pull away from them, so the more that they do this and squabble with each other and trip over each other, the more that Renault is just going to pull away.
Certainly.
Meanwhile, it's all line astern and everybody holding station in the Alfa Romeo versus Volvo fight. Kubica another ways off. He's got Lammers and Thompson not far behind him now, so Thompson has managed to get himself around the Gulf of Suarez, who's lost quite a few spots down. He's now down behind Dumas in the privateer Alfa Romeo there.
A slight Kubica train, 9th to almost last. The straggling has begun. I think Kobayashi has started to encounter some technical issues.
Fault with his Honda, or maybe.
Oh, it was almost a run to the pit
sounds sort of okay.
Directive to get every car across the line rather than have them start and park as per older championships, shall we say. Aiello still leading, but here's the battle with Lammers.
Lammers has got himself in front of Kubica whilst we were looking at Kobayashi struggling. So Kubica now sandwiched between the two Hondas.
Because Thompson's making some headway. Should be a bit better for the Brit in the Honda.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it in the Japanese series that these Hondas seem to falter at the start and then get themselves going for the second half of the championship. We haven't really seen that as much with these World Super Touring Honda Civics, but it's still there to a degree. I mean, Lammers started on the front row and he's fallen all the way back down outside the top 10 to work his way back into the top 10. So net loss in positions overall, but at least he's managing to make up the deficit a small amount, although he's not pulling away from Kubica. Kubica is still there, still on his back bumper, could be within striking distance. Should he get a good run into turn 1 here?
A very promising and entertaining crocodile for the crowd on the right-hand side there. Even if Ayala and Gasho have almost got this in their possession, BMW still trying to steal something, however minimal, and an improvement on their current podium position and 4th places,
Webber and
respectively.
Schneider are within striking distance of the two Renaults, and I feel like they're all catching Aiello slowly but surely. So this is going to eventually become a 4-car train for the lead. I don't know whether it'll get itself grouped up with enough laps left in order for any fireworks to happen. But gaps are indeed closing by the looks of things.
Goodyear providing a very good balance between managing the tyre and getting the tyre to perform without wearing too much. But some drivers trying to keep it sensible will be wise to start going a bit more flat out now in order to get a better position. Much like the likes of Kubica, who is still trying to do more than just be a top 10 finisher.
He wants a
Taking all the
single-digit
points.
finish rather than a double-digit point finish. There's a little look on the inside. That's not really a good overtaking spot. It's doable, but not probable. Lammers is going to have the better run down to turn 1. They are all catching Fisichella as well. Fisichella has dropped off the back of the two Volvos.
Fisichella
And
was
there goes
9th,
Thompson.
and Kubica was 10th. Dumas about to steal that particular match as well. All good for the independents, the privateers.
I mean, you could also say individual because these are two one-car teams. It's not like they've got any teammates to help them out here. They are just in it for themselves.
Hence the deliberate effort across the sausage curb through the piff path uphill. Still doing much better than the 2-car factory effort behind them in Ford.
And Volkswagen.
And in turn, Volkswagen, yes. We're still trying to find out what's going on for both the Volkswagen factory efforts, World and Europe, and to a lesser extent the Audi team, because they are inexplicably, well...
Oh yeah, they are related. It is all VW Automotive Group. There have been rumblings because Audi have not been getting the results they want in the Euros, and obviously Volkswagen are not getting the results they want in the World Championship, so it wouldn't surprise me to see some sort of shake-up happen for next year. However, looking at the here and now, we have two Volvos on one Alfa Romeo. Whitman has got two angry elephants behind her now.
And neither of them a silvery grey, as Volvos of old.
Whitman got a better run out of turn 3 there, so she's got herself a gap to Ekstrom going down the straight. Don't think Ekstrom will be close enough to try anything into the waterfall turn.
Apart from straggler, there's 3 very obvious packs, the top 4, 5th to 7th, right there through the waterfall. And then Fisichella just being a surprising cork for everybody else, including the 2 Hondas, with Thompson now ahead of Lammers.
They have changed positions. I wonder if Fisichella has burnt out his rear tyres a little bit in trying to keep up with his teammate and fight the Volvos.
The sun is definitely over one of the mountains nearby. It starts to get a little bit darker here. Not even light beam yet, but nowhere near full beam.
That also might be a factor for Fisichella, actually. The lower track temperatures, his car might not be set up for it, and he might be struggling with the lower grip conditions that the track is now providing.
As that would echo with Wittmann as well, perhaps, as it would echo with the 2 Renaults, maybe, because they are now very close to each other. Top 4, final lap, I think we know where the tide is going to end up. It could be a surprise still. Renault very much kind of, had to keep it sensible, whilst BMW don't seem to be keeping it sensible at all as they have their own inter-team battle.
A little bit of
Wide
rallycross.
goes Webber.
He's still alongside, though. It didn't ruin his momentum. So they're having a big old squabble for who gets the final podium position. They're clearly not worried about trying to challenge Renault for any of the top 2 spots anymore. It's just a fight for third at this point.
I don't think they would have been able to make a stronger effort than what we've seen in this race. And as for Renault, they're now the closest they've been all race. Aiello with the fastest lap still, and Gasho has just sort of nibbled away at that, and the position could change on the final turn. It could be a close photo finish, but it does seem like formation fly-in, and Renault, not surprisingly, doing what they have done for the first 4 weekends in a row. Would have been nice for them if it was both races, but obviously Alpha's day in the sun, but not their day in the shade. The Volvos earning the respect of the paddock by being there or thereabouts still. Found and weaved around their reliability issues at the start of the season as the rest of the finishers go across the line. And it's just Kobayashi struggling still. And one of the most stagnant races, race 2s, with obvious reasons. I'm assuming we'll see more of the same when we get to the next World Championship event, which will be at Barcelona. And whilst I wasn't totally it wasn't meant to be all the entertainment you can get, fair enough, but it's still a motor race, Swinny, and maybe there will be those that would expect more out of it.
Yeah, maybe. I know that obviously the Alpha fans will be very happy with their 1-2 finish in race 1. Middling results for race 2. Whitman still put on a good show. Fisichella was there for a portion of it. I think ultimately Renault, Alpha, BMW, Volvo will be happy with what's happened here. Honda will be satisfied with what happened here. The privateers of Kubica and Dumas will be happy with their race results. Everybody else will be shaking or scratching their heads, and possibly shaking their heads as well, wondering where they went wrong.
Speaking of Kubica and Dumas, they are almost respectively first and second. It's Dumas a 4-point gap on the Independence Championship, let alone the Drivers' Championship. They are still ahead of the 2-car privateer outfits. And as for the constructors, it is still Renault closing in on double the amount of points of BMW and Alpha, respectively. They are second and third. As for the Drivers' Championship, then, Gasho with the obvious gap to Aiello because of what happened to Bathurst still. I don't think that's going to be dissipating anytime soon. Ingram is a very good-looking third in the championship. A very good start for his season. But I have a feeling that with the performance of the other teams, that tide might turn as well.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. Ingram is showing that despite the on-track scuffles he's had, and he's had a few at this point, not just Bathurst, but obviously he had that half spin avoiding Nicky Lammers at Dragon Trail. But aside from those 2 incidents, he's had a very, very consistent season so far. So once again, showing that consistency pays off. Because as we look at it right now, he's only had 1 finish outside the top 10.
And what more would you want from Volvo reliability? Maybe some pace. But we have seen it. That was in race 1. To a degree, we did see it in race 2 as well. We'll just have to see what happens when we head to a more traditional and more testing venues at Barcelona. As for us, we're heading back to Japan as we postulated for the high speed ring event. That'll be the first time we've been there in a long, long time, um, despite the testing and media weekend. But as far as racing is concerned, that is going to be something for even the most neutral of fans to look forward to, and I can't wait. So on behalf of Michael's Winnington, we shall see you there. Good racing, everyone.